Have you ever thought about buying a cheap car, fixing it up, flipping it, and trading until you get to your dream car? Well, in Ontario, that's a very complicated thing and almost impossible to do. And that's why I'm making this video today. So if you want to figure out what's going on, stay tuned because this could be a long one. So for my American viewers, you may find this really crazy, what I'm about to explain here. For people who already live in Ontario, this is the norm. We're taxed and we're taxed and taxed and taxed. It just doesn't end. And maybe when I get through this video explanation, everybody will have a better understanding. And I think this is going to be coming to everybody. The other provinces are already talking about this. So for those who live under a rock, or again, your different demographic, in Ontario, every vehicle sold gets taxed, even when it's used. Me as a personal seller, when I go to sell a vehicle, it gets taxed to the person buying it. It's brutal. So it's 13%. It's called an RST, retail sales tax or something. Up until 2015, it was based on what you wrote down. So if I sold a person a Cavalier, which is honestly a shit box, I would write sold for $500 as is. And when they went to transfer the vehicle into their name, change the ownership over, they'd pay taxes on the $500, which was still, my opinion, stupid. But that's the way it went. This law has been in since 1999 or 1998, I believe. So in 2015, what changed is I would write a receipt for $500. That person going to the MTO, or DMV for the American folks, they would go there, and what would they do is they sell a used vehicle package, you pay $20. The clerk would then go, okay, this $500 Cavalier, saying right now, based on our system estimates, this vehicle is worth $5,000, you're gonna pay taxes on $5,000. It's like, whoa. So they're paying almost $800 in taxes in Ontario on a vehicle that's worth $500, and there's not much you can do about it. Well, there is something you could do about it. You can go pay a salesman to appraise it at $500, but here's the kicker. So if they do appraise it at $500, you flip it, you fix it up, you flip it, now they got to get it reappraised, and it just creates a lot of red flags. There are some salesmen out there who will do it for you. It's perfectly, you got to save some money. So what happened to me is this law came into effect, I think early 2015, maybe late 2015. I bought a 2006 Acura MDX. I paid $500 for it. I legitimately paid $500 for it. I had valve issues. The pistons were carboned up. I knew it needed a lot of work. It had misfires on startup. The thing had 367,000 on it. Again, it's a $500 car. I didn't realize I had just missed the deadline. So when I went to go change it over into my name, the retail value on this thing was $13,000. I was just blown away. I had to pay $1,300 roughly in taxes. I was furious. So I already had to spend $1,300, which I could have used on repairs, and this vehicle was just to get it transferred over into my name. So I had to find information for this. It's very hard because the government, it is public, but they group everything together. So I believe in 2016 or 15, it was 2.2 billion in the private sales they made. And then after this change, it jumped up to 3 billion. And then there's a year where we can't find information, oddly. And it just keeps going up and up until to the point where roughly 2024, it's pushing 5-6 billion. Again, this information is very, very hard to get. But I can tell you something. 2016, the total used sale vehicle prices, that includes dealers, was 26 billion in 2016. You jump forward to 2024, it is 39.7 billion in taxes. So the government of Ontario is they're pillaging the average Ontario citizen on used vehicle sales. That's total. And for the state side, you're probably losing your mind, like, the car was already paid taxes once. Yes, it was. It's something here we didn't fight it, and we're stuck with it now. And I personally believe we're gonna be paying for this for a long, long time. Me as a mechanic, I love cars. I love fixing them. I love flipping them. So what I've seen since this book value change is the average price of a vehicle has skyrocketed on the used market. So it used to be before anything over $3,000 or $4,000 Canadian, it came with a safety. And if it didn't, you were very, very, very weary of what you were buying. Now I see vehicles 10, 15, 20, 25,000 without a safety. And as a mechanic, I'm like, this is red flags. And people always say, I don't think it needs anything. Huge red flags. Like, that's a whole other subject. So what happens is these used sale taxes have driven up the prices of cars across Ontario, which in effect has affected every other province in Canada. So there's a vast majority of the Canadian population is in Ontario. No one can deny that. So what happens is other provinces are looking at used sale prices in Ontario, and they're basing their prices on what they're seeing here, and that's affecting everybody across Canada. This stupid change in Ontario has single-handedly affected every single used vehicle transaction across Canada, an entire nation. And the amount of money they're making off it is astronomical. I mean, we're basically giving it away to other countries, but hey, whatever, we'll just keep taxing Ontario citizens. Like, it used to be in the early 2000s, I remember my teacher saying he used to be able to, once a month, find a vehicle, not rotten, put some money into it because he was a mechanic, buy the parts cheap, and flip it. In the early 2000s too, you got to remember, people, you couldn't go to a used parts place and buy these parts without being a mechanic or having a shop or a PO number. They made it very difficult to buy parts aftermarket. They were saving it for the professionals. These days, you can't do that. Everybody goes to a parts counter and they get the full discount. Anyways, another subject. So he said he was used to be able to flip a car once a month, and that paid for his college, that paid for everything. That's the perk of being a mechanic. So he said those days were gone by 2009. Now here we are in 2025. I'm a mechanic, I'm licensed, I do this for a living, I love cars. Those days are far and few between, and if you do find a cheap car, it usually needs an astronomical repair or it's been neglected. So, where am I going with this video? I wanted to do a series here where I live in Ontario, where I purchase a car, you know, 5, 6, 7,000. It's still a big purchase. I fix it up properly, I document everything, and I flip it, I trade it up. Well, the problem is, you lose so much on the trade-ups. So knowing this is when I sell a vehicle, the person buying it knows it too, roughly. I hope they know it. So they're gonna do everything they can to lowball you. And it's really hard because you're a little sympathetic for them, but you know it's not your fault. You put in the money, you put in the effort, you put in the work, you know what the vehicle's worth, but because they have these taxes, it adds on to the value of the vehicle in their mind, or it takes away from the value. So you gotta negotiate that. But this tax takes out everything from the vehicle. It makes it really hard to negotiate. Absolutely crushes your margins if you're selling or trying to flip. Ontario has become stagnant. I can go on our Kijiji, or whatever you call it, marketplace. Vehicles are just staying there for months and months and months because you got to pay the retail value. Buying a European branded vehicle is extremely expensive. Buying an Acura, extremely expensive. Even if the thing has 500,000 on it, it's rotted out. It should be in the scrapyard. The government's still going to want the $10,000 book value of taxes. So then you're really forced to go to a salesman and have him downgrade it. But here's the thing. Let's say you do go to a salesman, you have them estimated at $500, you fix it up legitimately, you forget to go back and have it reappraised. Your vehicle in insurance is worth $500. So if you got into an accident in Ontario, everybody has insurance, by the way, for my state friends, that vehicle is effectively worth $500, even though you could have put like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in it. If you forgot to reappraise it, that's all the vehicle's worth. But then again, if you do reappraise it, opens red flags. Well, they're going to ask, well, how is it worth $500? Now it's worth $10,000. Do you have receipts? Do you have proof that this was done professionally? How do you... Again, it's a can of worms. I haven't heard of anybody having to deal with this in a long time, but it's always possible. Our government's very bureaucratic. Some people get screwed, a vast majority might not. But if you're that one person who does get screwed, I'm sorry. Again, this is very foreign to people who aren't in Canada. Imagine everything you bought and sold, you had to pay taxes again on. That's vehicles. That's vehicles in Ontario. And it's affected everybody. Even though if you're in the other provinces and you're not paying taxes, it's driven up the resale value of your vehicles. Ontario has effectively screwed over the rest of Canada, in my opinion. And you can see it in the numbers again. Like I said, 2016, 2017, 23 or 26 billion, and now 2024, 25, they're going to be pushing 40 billion in these taxes. Cars have gotten more expensive, yes, so the taxes are going up. They've put on luxury taxes on vehicles over 100,000, so now you're paying even more taxes. Imagine a vehicle that's sold 5 to 10 times could possibly have enough taxes to pay over half the value of the vehicle. That's how much the government of Ontario makes on it. It's such a cash grab. It hurts the citizens, it hurts the retail market, it hurts the used vehicle market. And I can't do a series of vehicles here, or a series on YouTube that I've wanted to do since day one. I was advised against it. I wanted, again, like I said, buy that $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 vehicle and flip it and trade my way up to something nice. I don't want to do the $150,000, $200,000 YouTube things. I'm like, maybe a nice truck, maybe my 1967 Supernatural car I sold. Something that's average to the person, but still isn't attainable. Like a $50,000 vehicle these days paid off is huge. I think people are just living way up there. Like, it would have been a nice series, but again, I'm limited to 5 to 6 vehicles before I have to get a sales license. And then there's the taxes and the legal stuff, and they'd definitely be monitoring that. Trust me, when you're in public, they're on your butt. So it's just one of those things where it's just not worth the headache. Maybe I'll just work my way up and pay it out of pocket. And I thought it would have been a really cool series, but it's just something you can't do in Ontario. Your hands are basically tied. Welcome to Ontario. I think things are only going to get worse. Like I said, seeing $10,000 vehicles not certified for sale is very... Maybe I'll make a series telling people in Ontario how to buy vehicles. Again, in my opinion, if it's over $5,000 and it doesn't come certified, do not buy it. Don't even message the person. I'm guarantee you that thing will go for peanuts. A lot of these vehicles should be in a scrapyard. And that's another topic I'll talk about another day, is vehicles that should not be sold as being able to be driven on the road. A lot of them should be in the scrapyard. But that's a complicated subject. So whatever you get from this video, I'm Lance Mechanics. You're new to the channel, like and subscribe. This is just my rant on how life in Ontario sucks, especially as a mechanic, and my passion is vehicles. They make it really hard to keep vehicles on the road. They make it hard to make a living, or they make it hard to even make profit, or flipping cars. And I wanted to make this series. I'll find a way one day. I might have to go pay $1,000 and get my license, whatever. It's not hard. Anybody can be a salesman. So yeah, again, post in the comments what you think. If you're not new to the channel, my one goal is to get that Supernatural car. I regret selling that. There's not many left in Canada, so I'm definitely buying it stateside. That's kind of my goal. I miss my 4-door 67 Impala. What can I say? Have a good one.